Good morning, everyone. I am here with Anne Davnes-Elser. Elser.
Elser.
I always want to put the N in your name, and I'm
I know.
super excited to talk to you, even though I like totally flubbed your name, because oh my God, Anne, I love your work so much.
Oh, Jill,
Just everybody, just like I think people must just go up to you on the street and go, "You must be Anne. I love your work."
you're so kind. That only happens at conventions.
And so, speaking of conventions, you're coming to Calgary, which is part of the reason why we're chatting. And
Yes.
you're gonna teach some new things, which is super exciting, and I have questions. Like,
Yes.
honestly, when you add color to calligraphy, it does seem to reframe it as fine art in a way that just writing doesn't. Do you feel like that's true, or is that
Y-
just my love of color?
Oh, they're two separate entities. So when you yeah, they're two separate things. So when you combine them, you really do have a conversation about what the lettering looks like and what it reads as. So, and I love putting color, especially in the background, because there's something about a white canvas that can drain your energy and also can frighten you because
Right.
you don't want to get it dirty or mess it up. And the
And there's
calligraphy,
just maybe too many possibilities and it gets clogged up.
yeah, yeah. So a soothing, uh, or a color that you like that you start with is, or an underpainting is a really exciting way to start and a soothing way to start to letter on top of. Yeah, the language of color is that's what keeps me going all day is looking at color relationships.
And so when you pick colors, is it very intentional for you? Like, do you feel, or do you go with intuition and emotion?
Intuition. Yeah. I have a fine art degree and color theory. We spent weeks on color theory. This was in college for undergrad.
Yeah.
And so I've been trained, but I'm at the point now that I have forgotten a lot of the technical information. And so I now rely on just intuition.
And for someone who's learning from you and they're maybe just adding color in, how do they keep themselves from making, I don't want to say a mistake because I don't know that that's the right word, but
Mhm.
a disaster, like, a color, a muddy color or something that just detracts rather than adds.
I totally get that. The first thing to do for someone who wants to work with color, but who is looking for guidance on how to start is go with the colors that resonate with you first. And then don't be afraid to overdo it or to make a muddy color or to have an unexpected outcome because you're there to stay on the page and be present with the experience. So if you let go of that, like, oh my God, what if you let go of that, then every experience that you have on the page is a learning opportunity. And that's never wasted. There are also, loud colors and soft colors and, there's dark, light, and something in the middle. And when you have a balance of those things, when you learn how your eye travels around the page, you can kind of make sure that there are no like dead spots and that you've got a composition that engages you, but also a place for your eye to rest. The other thing is like how much, how little, what's too much, what's not enough. When people ask me that, no matter what you're making, if you're doing a painting or you're doing a landscape or you're doing a lettering piece, no matter what it is, think of it as a tree. So trees, a winter tree is bare and very minimal, and a spring tree is full of flowers, and a summer tree is full of leaves. And the tree is always beautiful as it is. Nature just has a way to like shoot things out of the ground and have them appear and be beautiful no matter what the season is. So my advice to anyone who's making a visual work of art or practicing that is to say, well, do I want a winter tree? Do I want something minimal or do I want something full of activity and extras and flourishes? Your drawing, your composition, the soundness of that is, the soundness of your drawing. That is what matters the most. The other thing is that while I am working, I am in a constant state of imbalance because I'm adding elements. And
Mm.
if I make an element that I don't like, I'm like, "Okay, I don't like it right now, so I'm gonna let that dry and work on this area over here, and then I'm gonna come back to that." So you can make elements in your piece that detract from your perceived mistakes or unexpected outcomes, so that when you look at the piece as a whole, when you feel like you've had the experience that you were there to have and you're ready to let it go, you've stayed with that piece. You've stayed present. There are always, when I'm working, ways to counterbalance. If something is out of balance, I need something over here, and that kind of thing. When you're accessorizing your word with color line, you're constantly fiddling with the piece. And that is, the more you do it and the more you kind of let go of wanting it to look a certain way, that's when you get into a flow state, and that's when you discover things. And I'm always surprised when I'm finished. The other thing is, if I do a piece and I don't like it, I like it the next day. Maybe I'm crabby and I'm tired, I'm worn out because I've worked hard on this thing.
'Cause you
Right now,
wrangled it.
yeah, and right now I'm looking at it not with eyes of love, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna walk. Gonna bake a cake. I'm gonna go do a different art form, needle, or whatever it is. Come back and look at it the next day, and you see with eyes of love. So that's part of the experience too. I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. I wanted to just think about when you said discover in a painting. Do you find that as you do a piece, there's a deeper learning process, like a bit of a communication with the piece that you're working on that is is talking to you about something little or big or
Absolutely. Absolutely. We make choices that we think are random,
Mm,
but they're not. Like I was talking about, making sure that the piece stays balanced. We have an intelligence within and around us that is helping us navigate the day that we're having, using the tools that we have in front of us, and with the knowledge, expressing the knowledge that we have about the thing that we're making. Like, I know this is a paintbrush, it's going to make this mark. This is a pointy pen, it's going to make this mark. This is an eraser, it's going to be able to, all those things. Your work is there to express what you have no words for. If you're quietly frustrated and you don't know it, it's going to come out in your work. And that, if you're blissfully happy and you don't know it, it's going to come out in your work. Our work, this writing instrument, I'm holding up a pen right now. This is an antenna, and it's going to help you pick up the stuff around your head, within your head, close to you, within you, and it's going to help express in a way that you may not understand until years later. That's what art is. Art is art history. It tells a cultural story, but through the lens of the individual who is looking for the medicine that work has to offer. And I have looked at the paintings that I did as a young painter. I didn't fully understand. They're beautiful, but now I get them. Now I understand what I was trying to say. And that is a healing. Making art is first and foremost, not only is it a time capsule of what it's like to live in your decade, in that place in the world, but it is medicine. It's healing medicine, which almost makes, like, who cares what it looks like? I need this.
When we think about creativity and art in the context of a very digital world, I love that idea that it's an antenna. It sort of resonates with something I think about with writing, where you don't know how you feel about something till you've written about it.
Right, right. Yes.
And I think that I mean, I think a lot of people have said versions of that. I'm reading Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic right now, and so I think
Mm.
it's in there. And if it's not in there, I inserted it into the book, and I'm attributing it to her because it feels to me like right now we've got this world where we don't even always express what we say in full words. We use initials, we use whatever, and we blurt off every little thing that comes into our brain without putting any sort of filter through it to decide A, if it's true,
Mm.
B, if we agree with it, and see how we wanna react to it. We just kind of throw it back out there, and it feels like the world right now is a game of ping pong rather than a game of chess in lots of ways.
Yeah.
And that idea of painting as an antenna or lettering as an antenna, I think it's why I'm so drawn to this particular universe of calligraphers is they use that antenna and they become very empathetic and lovely people as a result. I don't know
Oh,
how that happens, but it seems to
that's that's beautiful. Yeah, the I understand that feeling of, "Wait a minute." I mean, our access right now to information is way too much.
way too much.
And I mean, it's wonderful that I can Google anything and get some information about it. That's great. But the clickbait, that trap is, and also our constant access to every little micro step that other people, world leaders are making. That's too much information. I mean, it makes me wonder if I'm living in, like, is the digital age not a great place to be? Or it comes with advantages, but also the disadvantage is it's just too much. So when you slow down and you have a piece of paper in front of you, or, a substrate, canvas, whatever it is, and you are making marks, that right there is much more than that. I'm going to be out of balance.
And it's exhausting, isn't it, to be
It's exhausting.
constantly reacting to rather than, I think it's great to constantly react to the things around you. It's just when
Hmm.
the things around you are so chaotic
Yeah.
because you let so much in, right? Like
Yes.
I'm reacting to the things around me and it's my kids, my husband, my grandkids, my friends,
Right.
even a little bit of local politics or color, whatever's happening.
Hmm.
And there's
Hmm.
always stuff that is all great, but when I also am getting bombarded with lots of things that I don't wanna also just ignore
Hmm.
because I wanna be a good citizen of the world, and part of that is an awareness, part of that is being present in the world,
Hmm.
but boy and honestly, there's no way to judge the lens you're seeing the information you get through at this moment. When you turn on the news or turn on social media, you get this information, but you don't get the context of how somebody is and why they're delivering you that information.
Right.
It feels
Right.
a little like the mean girls in high school.
Oh, totally. It's why, I was never popular
Me
ever.
either.
And all, like, the fighting, the petty fighting on the playground, that's what social media can very easily turn into. That's what the news can do. That's why I didn't let anything get in between me and my peace until 2000, was it 16, 18, 19?
Yeah.
And that's when things got really chaotic, when it was impossible for me to ignore. But the only, because, and we talk about what you and I are talking about, all the static and the noise and the chaos, and how do I find my peace? Um, the one sliver of hope that I have is that I myself have gone through when I go through chaos that is disruptive and I disagree with it morally no matter what it is in my small sphere, it always resolves. Always.
Mm.
Because I'm not gonna waste this experience, this opportunity that is uncomfortable. I'm gonna get through it. I may complain, but I'm not gonna waste that opportunity when it's over and resolved to learn from it and enrich my life further. The content around me, it it if you want it to be for your good, it will be, and you will learn and we'll get through it. So if that happens in my little world, I have faith that it is also being duplicated. I can't be the only one, you know?
Right.
So the world is super out of balance right now. It's very
Mhm.
tippy. It feels awful. I want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but it's the elephant in the living room. So we talk about these things in my classes and
Yeah.
then we say, okay, I feel a little bit better. Let's make art.
Let's figure out how we feel about it by putting our paint to paper
Right. Right.
or picking a word that's gonna resonate. Like a lot of your pieces that I've seen lately have well, a cloudy sort of ethereal feel, and they feel very actually, that feels very peaceful
Mm,
looking at those. When people come into your class, do they leave having left some of their burden on their paper, do you think?
yes. And that is the only reason why I teach is that I know what it's like to be in a classroom where you don't have a voice
Yeah.
and you're not encouraged to be yourself. I've had way more harmful teachers than I have had good ones. All being a student, a lifelong learner, I think I took notes. Said when I have a classroom, it's not going to be a triangle where the teacher has all the knowledge at the top of the point of the triangle and is one of many, and the great unwashed is at the bottom of the triangle, voiceless great unwashed bottom
Sitting there
triangle.
just to take it in. They're just there to be the other side of a radio almost.
Yeah, it's a power structure in a classroom where the instructor's in the has the only voice and then all the students are in rows, that kind of thing. I started teaching with a different model by creating a circle.
Yeah,
And so we were all around that circle. And in the center of the circle is the content.
right.
And we all look together at the content. So everyone has a voice. No one is no one's muted. No one's left wondering, "Oh my god, where am I? I need help." And
Yeah.
we're all there together discovering, having a conversation about the content and teaching a class over and over. The feedback and the questions that I get from students, and I put that in quote because we're all together
We're all
teaching each
students.
other. We're all students. Um, the content is changed and improved every iteration of that class. So it's a group effort. It's not me, you know, gifting everyone with my knowledge at all. It is me, all of us deciding to gather. Here is something that I put out into the world. Here's what it feels like to put it on your body, and you tell me what your experience is, because that between all of us is so sacred. And then we all leave feeling lighter and more peaceful.
And I do think there's something just overall enriching about sitting next to someone and going through an experience of learning with someone and being able to look over at someone else's paper and go, "Wow, that's what you learned." So we're both taking in the same it's a bits of information. And
Right.
this is how it translates for you, and
Yeah.
this is how it translates for you. And neither of those look anything like what it translates for me.
Mhm.
And there's that kind of, I don't know, a wave-like effect of information going back and forth and just accumulating onto your own work in a way that I don't think you get if you're just in a Zoom class or you're just only taking in information from one source, the teacher at the front of the room.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, being in sitting physically next to people, sharing energy that way is beautiful. And when I started teaching online classes a couple years before COVID
Yeah,
because my local art store was having my classes were the traffic pattern changed in my town. And so when a class wouldn't make an in-person class, I would create another one online.
yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, this whole online experience this is doable." So I made a point, to allow for group conversation and for people to show their work and to get feedback. So I'm like, okay, if this digital thing is going to work, I am going to make it feel like we're all together.
Right.
I play music, and they're smaller, more intimate classes. Yeah, I try if that this lens that we're looking through the cameras on our devices, are they are extensions of us, and there is a way to not let the technology feel like it's a barrier, but just a different way to connect. I've had some pretty magical experiences online in my classes, and I was like, "Oh, okay. This is cool. This works."
And they certainly do fill a need for people who are not always able to just drop everything and drive a long ways to get to a class or there's somebody particular they're called to learn from and it's just not accessible for them for time and money and whatever. To
Sure.
be able to jump on an online class is really a benefit.
Yeah. Um, when I have um, like a 2-day weekend retreat,
Mm,
I make sure there's enough time for us to eat together, to take a break and eat together, just clear the table
yeah.
and to make something delicious and decadent, which is what you do when you're traveling to go to a workshop or
Well,
you're
and
going to.
when I'm working on the next one, like, honestly, part of what I really you plan an event, there's things you have to give up because of various whatever.
Mhm.
A round table to eat at is
Yeah.
like a hill I'll die on.
Yeah.
I love a group of people around a table where you can hear more than one conversation and you can
Mhm.
even if you can't hear what somebody's saying on the other end, you can see everybody's eyes and face, and it just eating around a table that's round feels like a hug to me.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I love it.
And the super cool thing about in-person conferences and workshop, events that are more than like 5 people, but they're, big,
Yeah.
like, um, yeah, conferences, festivals. Yes, we're there to do a thing, but to me, the things that resonate in my heart that I leave with are the conversations that I have with people about our lives. How do you make your life work? And those are the things that are most, to me, the most memorable. As much as I love the thing that I'm making, the thing that I'm teaching, that I'm learning, the the reason why we're there, I think that is secondary. I think the primary healing and love happens when we are imbibing, when we're relaxing, when we're,
I love that moment at the end of the day when the day has been well met, but you're
Mhm.
tired,
Yeah.
right? Like you've had some transformation, you've had a lot of buzz around you, there's a lot going on. And at the end of the day, when you're just trying to process the day and you sit down with someone you like and you have that glass of wine or whatever it is, your cup of tea, whatever it is that you do,
Mhm.
and you just have that 15, 20 minutes at the end of the day with people who've shared an experience. I love that moment of the day. probably more than any other day, any other time.
Mhm.
Whether it's just my husband and I or a friend. I mean, obviously, we're not drinking wine every day at the end of the day at home
It depends
most
on what's
days.
going on.
But I love but I do love that moment at the end of the day where you just and
Yeah.
here's to us, we made it through and we're a little bit
Yeah.
better and we're a little bit further along and
Yeah,
good for
here's
us.
yeah. I say that with my husband too, not every night, but when we're going through something rough, it's like, "We did it. We're doing it. Wow. This is a miracle. A day well met."
It's not even
I love
something
that.
rough, it's just
Yeah.
a lot or even something great. We got through that great thing and
Yes.
we're ready to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
I do I mean, there's something magical about being in a room with people. I can't remember, are we gonna do a quick demo or are we going to do you wanna show us something?
Sure. I do have materials with me. I can the work that the 2 classes that I'm teaching at your Flourish Festival of Letters and Art. Did I say that right?
You sure did.
Okay, good. Are Folia and
Yeah.
Flourishing in the Clouds. And both of those, uh, are have layers of paint and drawing that need time to dry.
Yeah.
So
What are the tools that you
Mhm.
love the most, that you feel like you couldn't live without?
My pencil.
Oh,
Yeah, that's pencil is king. And watercolor pencils have
mm,
indispensable because they are so you can draw with them and you can paint with them. So
yeah.
those 2. Okay. It says you can turn off the camera while recording, but you can't switch cameras. Okay. Well, let me just hold up.
Let's just hold it up.
Yeah. Okay. So this piece
I
right
love it.
here, it's brown paper and it was written with a glass dip pen
Oh,
using a resist, liquid resist. So when you first write with it, it kind of disappears. You let it dry. And then I did a layer of blue paint on top of it. And that blue paint, once it was dry, I took a rubber cement pickup eraser
yeah?
and picked up the resist. And so then you could see the
Oh,
line.
so it lifts up the and so that's the color underneath coming
Yeah.
through.
So, and here's another one. This one is the word milky written on chocolate paper with white paint.
Yeah.
And then once the white paint was dry, I erased the resist
Resist.
medium and then added some more flourishes.
Lovely.
Let me show you another. Oh, this is fun. This one is
I love these.
aren't these fun? And the one in the center is my favorite. So this is white paper. I did an underpainting of a blue cloud here in the center
Right.
and then let that dry. And then I wrote the word blue with a pointed pen in the resist
Yeah.
medium, let that dry, and then did layers of orange, which is the complement of blue, but let some of the blue kind of remain. Then once that was dry, I took my rubber cement pickup so you could actually see the lettering and then
Yeah.
did a little bit of flourishing around it. And so we were working with this page with color complements, red, blue, green.
Love
And
it.
we could have done like purple.
Purple
Here's
and
another.
yellow and
Yeah, yeah. This is dark matter. I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah.
it's on chocolate paper written with the resist and then a metallic blue and then some flourishing around, at the very end. And I also kind of shadowed the lettering too.
It's
Um,
really very, very pretty.
they're like, and oh, what's great is that these pieces are tiny. So
Yeah.
they're it's smaller than a 3 by 5 card. And this is
Yeah.
a wonderful when you're flourishing. It's a great size to work on because you can constantly rotate it and it's not intimidating. Here's some more that I love. All right, this is So there's no wax resist or not. There's no medium resist medium here. It's just a background of a pink cloud with the word blossom and open on top of it with a little bit of gold shimmer. See if I can, yeah.
You can never add. I love shimmer.
Yeah, you can never add
Adding shimmer is
much.
never a mistake.
Here's another. This is inhale, oop. Yes, inhale, exhale. So more cloud
Nice.
formations with, and I love the
Um,
concept of a pink cloud because it's a pink cloud. It's me. It is a place to be. Temporary,
yeah,
but
it is.
so that's here's another one, let go. And that is
We all need to let go just a little bit.
totally. If you are, yeah, if you're creative, and then I'll show you folia.
Yeah,
So folia is done. I create. One of the things I love to do is to invent alphabets
I love that.
because, like, they're the ones that they're ones that we learn. It's a beautiful study to learn a hand, a calligraphic hand, and learn the
And it gives
way
you a
that.
base.
Sorry.
It gives you a base.
Yes, a place to start, but I don't ever want to stay there. There's always an itch for me that needs scratching, and that is what can I take with what was taught long ago? How can I make that mine and
Yeah.
make it mine by adding elements of things that I learned? Let's see. So here's an N, a script N, and it
They just feel like they're dancing to me.
they are.
When you sent those through to me the first time, I'm like, "Oh, they just feel like they've not just dancing, like dancing the tango, like dancing something really sexy and,
Yeah,
fantastic."
they're sensuous.
They are sensuous.
So, and this was done with a brush called a filbert brush.
Yeah,
It's a flat brush that has a round tip, and so it's really easy to make these strokes that are here's a heart. These buttery comma strokes that are drawn around an oval. There's an O, yeah, that are flourished. So these are painted around a hairline.
yeah,
Here is an L.
yeah,
So what we do first is we draw a really good sketch. Okay. So this right here is a sketch. See these pencil strokes?
yeah.
That's a J
That's a J.
for Jill. So that is what we start with. And then we paint around around the hairline of the letter that we've drawn with a pencil. And then after we're done, here's another one. This is an O. That's the
Yeah.
first layer. So they're in stages. And then after the paint is dry, you pick up your color pencils or watercolor pencils and draw, finesse the hairline and draw echo strokes. You kind of create draw the wind, the air, the movement around and in between
Which is why
strokes
they
of a
feel like they're
letter.
dancing.
Yes. And let's see. Here is a monogram of an E, a J, and a D
Mm,
that has lots of, there's very little white space. So you would call this a winter tree. I'm sorry, not
yes,
a,
I love that.
a winter tree, a summer or a spring tree.
Yeah,
Here's another one. That's an
yeah.
A and a D. So, and this folia takes cues from rose mauling, and rose mauling is Norwegian. It's a form of Norwegian folk art called
Oh,
rose painting. It's a decorative painting where they painted domestic objects like wooden bowls,
yeah, yeah,
furniture,
yeah.
trays, and then also walls and churches. And it's based on the Baroque art movement. So I just absolutely and these two courses I birthed the beginning of this year. So and by the fall, and we've had one I've had one online class
Yeah,
of each, and so the material is fleshed out. And by the fall, we'll be able to
I'm
do it.
excited.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited too. Very
yeah.
excited.
I'm, we're gonna have I mean, I'm excited to see what everybody produces because that's always really fantastical.
Yeah.
And but I'm also excited to see how what they're producing creates the energy in the room and how they, how they feel about themselves at the end of the day. And I yeah, can't come soon enough. Well, it can't come tomorrow because I'm just not ready. But other than that, it can come tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh,
and I love the way that you've even though I wasn't able to come to the first one, I love the way that you set things up and your intentions are uniquely, how do I put this? Empathic and
mm.
and a generous, warm welcome to everyone involved, which is not always the case. So it's, you know,
Well,
uh,
and that's certainly, I would say that's certainly just a natural. To not do that would be very hard for me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And one of the I remember browsing your site and one of the had a spot where people could click a link if they're interested in teaching, and that you asked some questions, and one of them was, "Are you kind?" And I loved that
mm,
because that sets the tone for the whole event, that
yeah.
kindness lives here, and that's not always it's
Well,
not always clear or
and sometimes the hardest person to be kind to is yourself. And so you need an
oh,
instructor to
yeah,
model that for you.
yeah. Yes,
I
that inner critic is such a I hate using the word monster, it sounds negative, but that muffling, or I should say soothing, pacifying that voice, say, "I hear you, and right now you know, you go sit over there, I'm gonna be over here."
yeah, yeah.
And that is I need people to model that for me too.
We all need people to
We
model
all
that.
do.
Like, I I I would think if you don't have that voice, there's probably something wrong on the other side. It's just letting that voice be too loud.
Yeah.
But I think we also need that. It keeps us humble.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
So, anything as we wrap up, anything wonderful that's happened to you lately that you wanna tell us about?
I honestly, the first thing that came to mind when you were talking about the inner critic is one of the tough things that I went through in December a few months
Mm,
ago. I had a hysterectomy, and which is like the most common operation that women have, and mine turned into it was supposed to be easy bake, quick laparoscopic surgery, and
yeah.
it turned into an open 5, 5+ hours
Oh,
surgery.
no.
But everything's fine. But it was
Yeah.
a big thing to heal from. And that experience, ever since then, I have been able to this happens to me every day. I take my hand and I put it on my belly and rub my tummy, my belly, and say, "I am so proud of you. I am
Mm,
so, so proud of you." Because your body is, it's still actively healing. But
yeah.
that lesson in the beginning of this conversation, you and I were talking about how do you deal with all the chaos and the uncertainty of starting a piece and the anxiety that you feel when you're working through it, and how you that process that's happening in my body as it heals. But me actively kind of placing my heart there and saying, "You are doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you." Not saying, you know, "You don't have terrific abs. You are, you know, 10, 20, 30 pounds overweight," none of that.
Yeah,
It's, "I am proud of you." Um, that has really kickstarted this year, and it's been a year of novelty, healing, and lots of love. So, yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Grateful that I got through it, and yeah. So if your body can do it, you can do it on paper too.
And truthfully, when we feel gratitude, no matter the magnitude of something, it is fantastic to feel gratitude for healing. But even
Uh-huh.
if you don't have that at this moment to feel grateful for, it changes the color that you see the world in.
Yes. Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. And knowing how to having strategies to cope with the challenges, that is also essential. And you wouldn't learn those unless you weren't in those situations to begin with. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing this healing journey amongst other humans in October. I've never
Yeah.
been to Canada, and, you know, I'll be bringing my puffy coat and my
Now
mitt.
are you flying?
I'm gonna fly.
You're gonna
Yeah,
fly.
yeah.
I think when we first talked about it, you were gonna drive, and so
Possibly drive, but no, I'm gonna fly.
it's a long drive from where you are.
I think so too.
Like, it would be a fantastic thing, but it's basically 3 weeks out of your life,
Right,
and that would be just getting here and getting home.
right.
And obviously, if you've got 3 weeks to go for a long drive, my husband and I do that from time to time. It's fantastic, but
Yeah,
it is a commitment.
yeah, certainly.
But, yeah, we will introduce you to Canada. We're gonna take you to the mountains and see some of Banff, and
Oh,
we'll have a great time.
wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
I'm very excited and grateful that you invited me.
And I'm grateful you're coming. So thank you everyone for watching this. Please come to Calgary and take a
Yes,
class maybe from Anne or just have dinner with her at the
yes,
Flourish Festival. Yeah,
yeah. I'll be
yes,
there.
you'll be there. Well, oh, yeah. So have a wonderful day. Thank you again for
Thank
joining
you.
me.